Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get set for our 15th race of the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series, continuing on the second half of the regular season, the part of the season called the Chase towards the chase for the championship, as we continue on adding drivers to the list that currently would be eligible in making it into one of our 16 playoff positions. So far this season, we have had 14 races and 13 drivers go to victory lane. So at this point in time, we could have only 3 drivers make it in via points. And of course, I think we're going to have the exact same situation we had last year, where we're going to have more than 16 different race winners, and we're going to have drivers that have won this season not be able to make it into the playoffs. But of course, there's still quite a ways to go here in the regular season. A lot can still happen. We are here today, though, at, I believe this is our second road course stop of the season. Indeed it is, at the Pensacola road course. A lot of people will be familiar with the Pensacola Super Speedway. Well, this is the Super Speedway, but also partially uses the infield road course configuration. So we will see a little bit of Super Speedway racing as well. And of course, using the 2019 rules package at that particular portion of the track, the draft will come into play. And more than likely, it's where we're going to see our majority of passes during the course of today's event. But on the front row, how about this? An all-rookie front row. Teammates out of Team Chevy Autosport, Derek Hamill lines up on the pole position, and alongside of him is teammate Marcus Sacchi. Now, Derek Hamill comes into this race currently 21st in the overall point standings, and as far as the rookie points go, he is second in the point standings, 4 points behind Cody Lamas. For Marcus Sacchi, on the other hand, he comes into this race 27th in the points. He actually did have a good run in the Coke 600 last week, though, jumped up 8 spots in the standings up to 27th. He's also third in the rookie point standings, 6 points out of the rookie points lead. We've already had a rookie go to victory lane this season in Alexander Rowe back at Pikes Peak. We'll see with good starting track position if maybe we will see our second one here today. We got 40 cars in this field. Out of those 40 cars, as mentioned, 13 of them have been to victory lane. So there are 27 other drivers that are still looking for their first win of the season. And a number of them are still looking for the first win of their Duracell Cup Series careers. We saw Benjamin Miles add his name to the list of first-time winners last week in the Coca-Cola 600. 18 laps of racing here today. It's time to go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
So as the command is given and you watch on the right side of your screen today's starting lineup, let's give you your point standings coming into today's race. Right now it's Matt McIntyre who is the new points leader. I believe this is the first time this season that McIntyre has been at the top of the point standings. He holds a meager 2-point lead, though, over Ryan Acosta, who lost the points lead last week at Charlotte. Mitchell Collins is third in points. He's 27 points back. Carter Friesen in fourth, 29 points back. And after his victory last week, Benjamin Miles now jumps up to fifth. He is 30 points out of the top position. Jordan Lopez currently sits in sixth. Seventh is Carson Gum. Zach Rogers in eighth. Ninth is Dylan Young. And completing your top 10 is Cole Baker. 5 of our previous race winners up inside of the top 10. Let's give you a little bit of a look of what your playoff grid would look like right now, too, before these drivers take the green flag. So right now, Michael Norman is 25th in the point standings with 2 wins. He right now would be in the number 1 seed. Then you've got winners Matt McIntyre, Benjamin Miles, Jordan Lopez, Carson Gum, Dylan Young, Cole Baker. They're up inside the top 10. You got Ryan Brommer. He's 16th in points. Trey Wright is 19th in points. Jose Mills currently in 23rd, and Kyle Matthews in 29th. Those are your previous race winners that are inside the top 30 in points. That's 11 drivers in total. Drivers that are outside of the top 30 in the points standings that have a win, you got Alexander Rowe, he's 32nd, and Wyatt Quayle in 38th. So right now, 5 drivers currently would be into the playoffs via points. Those 5 drivers would be Ryan Acosta, Mitchell Collins, Carter Friesen, Zach Rogers, and Austin LaPlante. Excuse me, the previous winner of this event is Ryan Butcher. Ryan Butcher last year was driving the number 24 for Northeast Motorsports in what was a Northeast Motorsports 1-2 finish as he won the race with teammate William Brock right behind him. However, this season, Ryan Butcher is in the field, but he is not with Northeast Motorsports, driving for his own team of Auto Junction Racing, and he is in the number 78 Toyota. Let's see where he's going to be starting this race as he'll try and go back-to-back here at Pensacola. There he is. And looks like he's going to be starting more towards the latter portion of the back half of the field. He's going to have a lot of cars he's going to have to pass during the course of this race if he's going to double down and pick up yet another victory here in back-to-back seasons at Pensacola. I don't know if it's just the way that the turns are, but it kind of looks like these rows are uneven. I don't know if someone had an issue on the start or not. Nope, Sebastian Kukulon right there along with Matt Haas in that final row. So apparently everybody did roll off the grid. Must have just been the way that they took one of those corners and it took a while for one lane to catch up with the other lane. A lot of drivers up here looking for their first win of the season. That could happen with good starting track position. We mentioned already about Hamill and Sachi. You've also got James Qualls there. He hasn't won since Martinsville last year. Charles Sanford is still looking for his first win of his Duracell Cup Series career. You've also got Jessica Shelton there. She almost was able to pick up a victory at Phoenix, but came up just short. You got Benny Watson there, Vince Almriego as well. But you've also got some drivers up here that would love to get some more wins this season and solidify themselves a spot in the playoffs. Michael Norman there, two-time winner, would love to get a third win. I see Jose Mills back there. He would love to be able to go to victory lane for a second time this season. And Dylan Young picked up his first career Duracell Cup Series win back at Darlington a few weeks ago. He'd love to put himself at 2 wins for the number 2. Right here is one of the more treacherous parts of the racetrack. Last year, we had cautions on, which we have again here today, but there were about 2 incidents, I think, that took place in that portion of the track that did not bring out the yellow, and I remember a couple of cars flipped upside down. I know Jessica Shelton was involved in one of those incidents. I'm trying to remember who the other car was, too. It might have been Diego Yepes, if I recall correctly, but they never threw the caution because it happened out in the grass. So we'll keep tabs on that as they're stacked up back there. There's also a left-hander that is the first part of the road course. Well, when these drivers take the green flag, they'll be on the super speedway section, and they will be very anxious to take it 3 and 4 wide, and it'll be very interesting to see if they make it through that first left-hander into the road course section when they are 3 and 4 abreast. They were able to do it last year, and it made it very exciting going into that corner, but we'll see if that's going to be the case here this season. If we're basing off of who to watch as far as a road course ringer, well, the only driver that's won a race at a road course this season is Ryan Brommer. And when we went back to look at where Ryan Butcher is starting, Ryan Brommer is starting even further back. So it looks like we are definitely going to have a different road course winner here this season, unless Ryan Brommer can work some kind of pit strategy, which definitely will come into play. 18 laps of race, and they'll have to pit maybe 2 or 3 times before this race is over. It's a very long road course, but here we go. Getting ready to go green. It's an all-Chevy front row. Teammates Hamill and Sachi. Get us underway. Green flag. Let's roll at Pensacola. Michael Norman going to make it 3 wide for second. Will he try and make it to the inside of Derek Hamill for the lead? Yes, he will. Vince Almriego with him there on the bottom. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep up here at the front. Look at Vince Almriego duck out of line. He wants the lead, and here we go. This is the left hand I'm talking about. Look at Jose Mills make it 3 wide to the inside. This is going to be dicey through this corner. Ooh, give room, guys. They were 4 wide through that corner as Cole Baker's going to try and take the lead. Ooh, contact. Himself and Mills making some contact, and Jose Mills going to take the spot away. Almriego going to move into second. Right in front of his teammate Cole Baker, and then Baker's other teammate Seth Cole right there battling with Michael Norman. They're 3 wide for third as Almriego and Mills battle for the lead. And Almriego's going to take away the spot. Somehow we made it through all of that without a wreck. I don't know how, as Vince Almriego leads the way. Now the crossover. Here comes Jose Mills back for the position. Jose Mills is a former winner at a road course. That was last season when he took the checkered flag at Watkins Glen. Almriego trying to get his first win of his Duracell Cup Series career, though, and now the battle may be on for second between a couple of former winners this season. Jose Mills, who took the checkered flag at Bristol. Michael Norman, who won at Springfield and Fuel Motorsports Park, the 2 dirt tracks that we've been to already this season. And you got another former winner, Daytona 500 winner there, Cole Baker, in the 4th position. Almriego's been able to get away. Remember, we talked about the rookie teammates starting on the front row. Well, Derek Hamill has fallen back to 5th. Marcus Sachi back to 7th. And now as they enter out of the final portion of the road course, now we get into the super speedway section. Let's see what happens here. This is CTS physics, so they will definitely be able to get runs on each other if they are in the draft. And we could definitely see some passes for the lead take place, especially here on the super speedway section. You can see Jose Mills is starting to close in very quickly between himself and the 42. I think he'll be able to make a move right here. Here he comes to the bottom, and they're wadded up for third place on back as well. First lap of the day, though, will be led by the 42 of Vince Almriego. As Mills and Almriego remain side by side, that could allow third place on back to catch up to these guys as well. Derek Hamill now ducks to the bottom for third place on Cole Baker. Seth Cole's up in this pack as well, along with Marcus Sachi and Michael Norman. They're going to be right on the back bumper of first and second coming down here into turn one. Well, I guess this isn't really turn one. I guess this is more, yikes! Guess this would more be considered turn 3, because I guess turns 1 and 2 are part of the super speedway section. Look at this! Oh, contact between the teammates there. That was close. Derek Hamill almost forced Marcus Sachi off the road course. I can't talk. Trying to get back into the swing of things here as far as commentating. Last race that I commentated was the Enter 2003 Big One Heats, and that was a few days ago. As far as Duracell Cup Series is concerned, this is the first race I've actually recorded and commentated since coming back from Daytona. And the caution flag is out for the first time here today. We managed to complete a lap, but here on lap 2, the first caution of the day is out, so these drivers are racing it back to the yellow. Ooh, Jose Mills overdrove that corner quite a bit, and now teammates are going to move by him there. Vince Almriego to the lead, Cole Baker into second. Hamill battling for the 4th position with Michael Norman. Dylan Young now up here along with Carter Friesen. And there is last week's winner, Benjamin Miles. He's now up inside of the top 10. I believe he currently would be in that 10th position, battling right now with Jessica Shelton for that spot. Charles Sanford right there as well. Looks like they've got themselves single file, at least for the moment. That probably will change when they get back to the super speedway section. Now Jose Mills with a move to the inside of Cole Baker for second. And if Derek Hamill gets behind him, then he will definitely pass Baker here on the super speedway part. Looks like he's got him cleared. Hamill stays down low, so Hamill's going to try and go for third. Baker tried to move low in front of Derek Hamill, could not do it. So Cole Baker could find himself back in 4th, maybe 5th before they get back to the start-finish line. But caution flag is out, and Vince Almriego is going to lead them down here to this first yellow. With this caution coming out, it's going to be interesting to see what the pit strategy is going to be for these drivers. Do they come to pit road here under caution? Oh no! Oh man! Cole Baker just got spun by Derek Hamill. Up into Dylan Young, and I believe Seth Cole and Carter Friesen both got a piece of that. And they were all running up inside the top 10 at the time. Baker was 4th, Dylan Young was 7th, Cole was 8th, and Friesen was 9th. And Baker looks like his day is done. Almriego and Mills are waiting for the pace car to catch them. Oh, man. Yeah, there's Seth Cole. There you see he's got rear end damage. Carter Friesen with front end damage. Carter Friesen coming into this race 4th in the points. Did not need that. Dylan Young back here somewhere. See some damage there on Trey Wright's number 28. I don't know where that came from. Keith Batson's got some damage as well. Jack Mitchell's got damage on the back of his race car. Zach Rogers with damage as well. We have more incidents take place. I don't know. Matt Haas is on pit road. Oh, a lot of drivers are on pit road. This must have been actually what brought the caution out, maybe. LaPlante's on pit road as well. Matthew Rodriguez and Jesse Turner. There's Ryan Acosta. Cody Lamas, runner-up last week in the Coke 600. There's Dylan Young. He's on pit road already. After that incident we saw over in turn 1. William Brock, who finished runner-up here 1 year ago. Adam Garcia. Boy, this was a big wreck. And Cole Baker trying to get out of everybody's way as it looks like his day may be over as well. Vince Almriego leads under the caution. I kind of want to just stay on these guys, though, because we want to see what happens as far as these drivers making pit stops. We'll go back and see if we can quickly get a look at what brought out the caution, and then we'll maybe have to, via replay, look and see about the pit stops here on our third lap of the day at Pensacola Road Course. And the caution is going to come out for Cody Lamas. Cody, who almost won the Coke 600 last week, back here leading I think this was like a third group. The field had kind of gotten broken up into some pairs of race cars. And wow. Going into that braking zone, Cody was not able to get on the brakes. Levi McIntyre gets into him. You saw Matthew Rodriguez with an issue there as well as he went up and got the wall. And then you see further back there, Jack Mitchell gets spun around by Ryan Brommer. And Levi McIntyre spins out as well. Oh, there's Ryan Acosta in the tire barriers further up there too. What happened to the 10? He was part of this pack. Oh, he overdrove the corner. He was never able to slow down. And then he's got Adam Garcia to his left, and so he doesn't have much room to be able to turn back to the left and just hits it into the tire barrier. We saw that happen last year too. And I believe Cody Lamas also is going to end up hitting that tire barrier as he tries to get back onto the track as well. That's a tough break there for Ryan Acosta. Second in the points coming into this race, trying to take the points lead back over from Matt McIntyre. And not going to happen here, at least here today. And there you see what happens to Cody as well, as Cody hits the tire barriers. Now, there were a number of drivers involved in this, but a number of drivers also were on pit road when we looked, and they were involved in an incident that was over in turn one, kind of a follow-up to what we saw happen between Cole Baker and Derek Hamill. Let's go back and see what happened with that. I can't talk. Well, I don't understand what happened here, but we're going to find out. You can see right here, Cole Baker and Derek Hamill, and Hamill, I don't know if there was like something he didn't appreciate with Cole Baker or what, but you see twice he goes up into Baker's left rear quarter panel, spins him around. Baker is going to hit that inside wall right there. And then there's just nowhere to go for Dylan Young in the 2, Seth Cole in the 72, as the 11's going to come right back up the track. Look at this. Right into him, and there you see right there, Carter Friesen runs into the back of Seth Cole. Let's see where those other drivers get involved here. There was another car that got spun around. That was Carson Gum in the 3. Now, there's another car spinning there on the left side of the screen. That is Trey Wright in the 28, although that looks like he spun out himself. Almost the same kind of deal here where Mitchell Collins going to get into the left side of Carson Gum. Now, for Carson, he did not spin and hit the inside wall, I don't think. He just spun down the apron of turn 1. There you see Trey Wright. Okay, that's what happened to Trey Wright. Trey Wright saw the spin up ahead of him. He went down low to avoid, and Mitchell Collins was there. So that's what caused the 22 to spin out. Let's see what happens with William Brock in the 88. Oh, he gets hit from Kyle Matthews as he was trying to avoid Dylan Young. And then all these guys I don't think are going to get on the brakes. Brock is stuck there on that transition from the apron to the track. And there's Matt Haas, there's Adam Garcia, there's LaPlante, there's Turner. Yeah, they just start running over each other. And I think a couple of these cars, like Matt Haas, may have had to teleport to pit road because I think they got stuck. I don't see any visible damage on the 8. But I think he got stuck there on the transition. Zach Rogers comes flying in. He never stopped, runs into Jack Mitchell, who then runs into the back of Keith Batson. Same for Ryan Brommer. These drivers are having some difficulty with using brakes, certainly, it seems. We saw a lot of drivers with brake issues down there in turn 3, and a lot of drivers with brake issues here, slowing down for cars that are either spun out or stuck on the racetrack. So definitely we're going to have some DNFs here. Let's go back for the restart here at Pensacola. Well, everybody came to pit road under that caution, and some pit crews were faster than others. It puts Derek Hamill, who started on the pole for this race but fell back to about the 3rd, 4th position. It puts him out in front. I'm not sure how a lot of drivers are going to be really thrilled about that after what we saw him do with spinning Cole Baker around. But he'll restart the leader ahead of Jessica Shelton. Benny Watson in 3rd. 4th place is going to be Carson Gum. And Vince Almrego will line up in 5th. He dropped 4 spots after the pit stops. 6th is going to be Benjamin Miles. 7th is Marcus Sacchi. 8th is Jose Mills. 9th, James Qualls. Like playing your top 10 is going to be Michael Norman. 11th is Carter Friesen. He has no hood. We'll see if that affects him or not. 12th is Mitchell Collins. 13th, Charles Sanford, Alexander Rowe. And 14th, 15th is Seth Cole, 16th is Jordan Lopez, 17th Trey Wright, 18th Levi McIntyre, 19th Johnny Gardner, and completing your top 20 right now is the driver that will undoubtedly leave today with the points lead still. That is points leader McIntyre. 21st right now is Wyatt Quayle, 22nd Zach Rogers, 23rd Sebastian Kukulon, 24th Kyle Matthews, 25th Keith Batson, 26th is Ryan Brommer, 27th Cody Lamas, 28th is Casey Nanico, 29th place Jack Mitchell. Chris Dollerton with some issues here as he's in 30th, but I don't know what's going on with him. That car looks like it may be stuck in the tire barriers. 31st would be Ryan Butcher. Looks like he's going to be able to continue. And then you have some drivers sitting here on pit road. Matt Haas, Austin LaPlante, Jesse Turner still sitting there, along with Dylan Young, William Brock. And there's Dollerton now teleported to pit road, so that'll put Ryan Butcher up to 30th. Adam Garcia also still sits on pit lane. Cars we know are definitely out of the race, but we got to wait for the leaders to cross the line for it to update them down to the bottom of the list. Cole Baker's out of the race. You can see a clutch issue for him, and he was 4th at the time that he got wrecked by Derek Hamill. Also currently officially out of the race are Matthew Rodriguez and Ryan Acosta. They will finish in 39th and 40th. Undoubtedly, others that are sitting on pit road are going to probably be out of this race, like Adam Garcia, William Brock, but we're going to have to just wait until they officially declare themselves out of the event. So Derek Hamill out in front. It's kind of interesting because if Derek Hamill were to win this race, it'd be the second time we've been at a road course where a driver has won other rather, I don't know, not mysterious, but rather, I don't know, controversial circumstances. Remember back to last year at the Charlotte Roval when Jesse Turner got into the back of Dylan Poteet in the bus stop. Spun him around, Turner went on to win the race. Poteet finished with a DNF. Well, we just saw Derek Hamill spin Cole Baker out under caution. And if he goes on to win this race, a lot of drivers may not exactly feel that he was deserving of the win, but he may not have to worry about that because Jessica Shelton's going to go for the race lead, and she's got Benny Watson behind her in that 75 car. It's kind of been a struggling season. Well, actually, it hasn't been kind of. It has been a struggling season for Benny Watson, who last year was in the hunt for the championship in the Final Four at Homestead, Miami. This season, though, 15 races in, and he is 30th in the points. As now Vince Almriego wants to get the race lead back, but Carson Gumb's going to make it 3 wide for the spot. Ooh, there was some contact right there. Both cars were a little squirrely through that corner. They managed to keep it straight, or at least close to straight. And Vince Almriego's going to take the race lead as Carson Gum takes that corner a little too wide. One good thing about Pensacola, though, it's got a lot of runoff space, so if a driver overdrives the corner, plenty of recovery area for them. And Carson Gum wants the lead back. Now, Carson Gum, remember, also got spun out there under caution, but he managed to not hit anything. And he is up here battling for the race lead. He has that left side damage, but it does not seem to be affecting him speed-wise. Carson Gum, who won earlier on this season at Atlanta, trying to pick up his second win of the season, third of his Duracell Cup Series career. I just was looking at a number of drivers that were caught up in the wreck that have damage or have DNF'd. And as I looked at that, 4 of our top 4 finishers from last season were involved in the wreck. Ryan Butcher, we know, has continued on, the defending winner of this race, but he has some damage, as we saw, and he started way at the back of the pack. William Brock, who finished runner-up here a year ago, was sitting on pit road. Don't know if he'll be able to continue or not. Ryan Acosta and Matthew Rodriguez finished 3rd and 4th here a year ago, and they both are out of the race in 39th and 40th. So, obviously, Pensacola is one of those tracks where if you had good numbers there the year before, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a good finish there the following year, as we're going to have a battle for the lead here momentarily. Actually, no, we're going to have pit stops. Carson Gum, Benny Watson, Derek Hamill, Jessica Shelton coming to pit road, so now the fuel window is open. More than likely, this is going to be the first of maybe 2 pit stops we're going to see these drivers have to make. If I can remember correctly, I think the fuel window is anywhere from 5 to 6 laps. So if they pit now, this would put them in their window to make it on, one more pit stop, I think, somewhere around lap 11 or 12 to be able to make it to completion of this race. That turns the lead over to Vince Almriego. And the furthest these drivers, if the further these drivers can go, the better off they're going to be of being able to make it on one more pit stop, as well as Jose Mills. Oh, there's a wreck. Mills got hit from behind by Benjamin Miles. He curb hopped. Sanford is around, and he's going to hit the wall. Miles and Sachi as well. Johnny Gardner, James Qualls. That's got to be a caution, and indeed it is. Where's Jose Mills? Did he even get through the corner? There he is. Oh my goodness. Well, he just went full throttle into the tires. I think he completely missed the corner. He tried to go around and get back on track. There's tire walls blocking the opportunity to get back onto the racetrack. If he missed the corner, he was supposed to turn around, but he didn't. And he just clobbered the tire barriers. Wyatt Quayle's on pit road as well. It's like William Brock has come back out onto the racetrack, but I think he's a lap down. Jack Mitchell's got damage now. Zach Rogers off in the grass. I guess he's trying to get out of people's way. We know Charles Sanford has damage also. Trying to get back up here to the front. And there is your race leader, Vince Almriego. A huge lead. Back to Mitchell Collins and Michael Norman. A lot of this in contribution to drivers coming to pit road there under this last lap. And, of course, that wreck that just took place over in turn 3. This caution, though, going to allow all these drivers that did not come to pit road to come to pit road and probably be within their fuel window to make it on one more pit stop. Also going to maybe be a big break for those drivers that hit pit road. They might cycle back up to the front when these leaders come to pit road. Best battle is going to be for second. Mitchell Collins and Michael Norman for the second position. Michael Norman going to jump up to the outside, though, so it doesn't look like he wants to pass the 22 right now. If he had stayed to the inside, he probably could have at least gotten alongside Mitchell Collins and made it a drag race for second to the line, but apparently does not want to do that. Well, as soon as I say that, now he drops down to the bottom of the racetrack, but he will not be able to get the spot away from Mitchell Collins. So it'll be Almriego, Collins, Norman, the top 3, and I wanted to watch there as Norman was behind the 22, make sure that he didn't spin him out. Carter Friesen and Seth Cole will cross in, looks like 4th and 5th? No, 5th and 6th, rather. Fourth and they crossed in 6th and 7th. 4th was Matt McIntyre and 5th was Jordan Lopez. And Trey Wright was 8th, 9th was Levi McIntyre, and Benjamin Miles crossed in 10th. It's going to be a big break here for Ryan Butcher. He'll catch back up to the field. Currently Austin LaPlante and Matt Haas, they are a lap down, as is William Brock. There's Carson Gum. We saw he got spun out. Zach Rogers coming to pit road. Dalton still sitting on pit lane. There's Jose Mills. His day is obviously over. And there is James Qualls as well, who lost a bunch of track position because of what happened there. Happened down in this corner right here. It looked like Jose Mills got bumped into the corner and got bumped straight, and then everybody else just started bobbing and weaving. And that's what caused the wreck to happen. So as Vince Almriego leads the way, undoubtedly he will come to pit road. I think the lead could maybe cycle around. Maybe to Benny Watson? I think he was one of the first that came to pit road. I think it was he, Hamill, Shelton, and Carson Gum, I think, that all pitted. So I think maybe Benny Watson might cycle as the race leader if he stays out and everybody else pits. But we'll have to wait and see in a moment. For now, we're going to go back and see what happened over in turn 3 to bring out the caution for the second time here today. I mean, when they hit the start-finish line, it was a side-by-side battle between Jose Mills and James Qualls. You can see how the draft comes into play. Benjamin Miles, Marcus Sachi, Michael Norman, all drafted up to this group. And watch Benjamin Miles. You can see he's kind of peeking out of line. Mills sees it. I think Mills was trying to move up and allow him to be able to pass him. And then Miles moves up behind the 98, gets him in the left rear quarter panel. You can see right here, he's going to go up and over the curb. The car goes airborne. So obviously, when you're in the air, brakes don't work. And he slides all the way over to this spot. That's actually where we saw Chris Dollerton, too. So I wonder if Chris Dollerton got spun when we saw him having some issue trying to get back on track. And we're going to actually look and see what happens over in the other area, too. But I want us to watch with Jose Mills, because he does get the car turned around. Watch what he does right here. You see, he's trying to get the car back on track, and then he guns it right here. There's like a small opening, and I don't think he even was going to hit the opening. He just hits the tire barriers and just kills the race car. I mean, he could have gone a little bit lower, a little bit more to his left. There's a little opening there he could have gone through. And then if he went back up on the super speedway section, I think there was a little opening on the tire barriers further up that he could have continued as well. But there you can see the end result, and it's obviously going to end his day. Jose Mills came into this race 23rd in the points standings. Really, this DNF is going to put him, I think, in a little bit of a sticky situation heading into Dover next week. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's take a look again at the incident over there in Turn 3 at some other drivers that were involved. So as the 98 of Jose Mills exits stage right, see right there, Benjamin Miles, I don't even think that car was really fully under control. He was kind of going around, and I don't know what was going on with Marcus Sacchi. There was no way he was going to make that corner. He took the corner straight, gets into Benjamin Miles, who in turn gets into James Qualls, and then Marcus Sacchi kind of gets turned around by Michael Norman. There's Charles Samper. He's going to take the corner wide, gets into Benjamin Miles. Johnny Gardner overdrove the corner, as did Wyatt Quayle. Wow, Wyatt Quayle pancaked the driver's side into the tire barriers. We're going to have to see what happened to him. There's Keith Batson, rookie Casey Nanico. They get together. Look up on the top side of your screen. Levi McIntyre just avoids Marcus Sacchi. And there's Charles Samper getting into the wall. Jack Mitchell spins around here. Who did he hit? If anybody. Did he run into the back of someone? Oh, no, he hits Zach Rogers. Rogers was spun around, and Mitchell clobbers him. I think Rogers and Kukulon made some contact with each other. I want to find the 41 of Wyatt Quayle. There he is. Now, what happens to him? I think he and Johnny Gardner, his teammate, might have made some contact. Oh, yeah, they did. Gardner trying to get on the brakes. The car snaps loose on him. He gets up into the wall. We saw that happen to Matthew Rodriguez earlier as well. Watch right here. Oh, same thing happens to Jordan Lopez in the 38. And there you see Gardner gets into Wyatt Quayle, spins him around, and Wyatt Quayle's just along for the ride. He's at over 100 miles per hour at this point. You see he's on the brakes, but he just can't slow down enough, and oh, wow. Just completely flattened the driver's side of his Burger King Toyota as he slid it straight into the tire barriers. And that car went from about 65 miles per hour to a dead stop. Now, I know obviously that's a lot different from 200 miles per hour to 0, but it still hurts. It's still a jolt. And so a tough break there for Wyatt Quayle. Man, Wyatt Quayle won earlier on this season at Las Vegas, and since then he's had nothing but bad luck. Still outside the top 30 in the point standings coming into this race, and it looks like things aren't going to get any better for him, as he will definitely be DNFing in this one, along with Jose Mills and maybe some others. We'll find out who those drivers will be as we head back now for the restart. Obviously, much like we had on our first restart, with drivers coming to pit road and some drivers staying out, the grid has not updated itself, so we're going to have to try and manually give you what the grid looks like. Jesse Turner, who spent a good portion of time on pit road after getting involved in the first caution of the day, he is currently scored in 31st, but he is on the tail end of the lead lap because he is going to restart ahead of the race leader, which right now is Benny Watson. Watson will be the leader. Second place is Alexander Rowe. Now remember, Ryan Butcher's the defending winner of this race, but the car he won in was the 24 out of Northeast Motorsports. So Alexander Rowe may be in the same car that Butcher put in victory lane here 1 year ago in that second spot. Got rookies in second and third, with Derek Hamill currently completing the podium. Jessica Shelton's in fourth. Carson Gum currently sits in fifth. Sixth is William Brock. He is a lap down, rather. Sixth is actually Ryan Butcher, who was at the tail end of the field not too long ago. So the defending winner is right there. Seventh right now would be Zach Rogers. Eighth is Vince Almriego. Ninth is Michael Norman, and Jordan Lopez completes top 10. Then 11th is Mitchell Collins. 12th, Levi McIntyre. 13th, Matt McIntyre. 14th, Carter Friesen. 15th, Trey Wright. 16th, Ryan Brommer. 17th, Marcus Sacchi. 18th, Casey Nanico. Seth Cole's 19th, and completing your top 20 right now, I believe, is Sebastian Kukulon. 21st, Benjamin Miles. 22nd, Kyle Matthews. 23rd, Keith Batson. 24th, Charles Sanford. 25th, Johnny Gardner. James Qualls sitting on pit road. Not sure what's going on with the 54. Cars that I believe are currently a lap down would include Zach Rogers, is a lap down. Adam Garcia, or no, Zach Rogers is on the lead lap. Never mind. Adam Garcia is a lap down. William Brock is a lap down. Austin LaPlante, Matt Haas, and Chris Dallerton is 2 laps down. Jesse Turner, you can see right there, is scored a lap down, but he will be scored on the tail end of the lead lap when he crosses the line since he is ahead of the race leader, Benny Watson. Right now, out of the race officially are Jack Mitchell, Jose Mills, Wyatt Quayle, Cole Baker, Dylan Young, Matthew Rodriguez, and Ryan Acosta at this point in time. Cody Lamas actually just now has retired out of the race in the 84 as well. Not certain why James Qualls is on pit road. Didn't really see him get involved in a wreck. I know he was involved with some contact in the spin that brought out the first caution. I don't think he was involved in anything to do with that second caution, although maybe I missed it. But nonetheless, when we go back green, it will be on lap 9. 8 laps will be completed, and these drivers are now going to be in their fuel window of being able to make it on one more pit stop. The question is, when does that pit stop take place? Now, calculated, they could go as far as lap 15, but will we see some of them come to pit road around lap 12, 13 when the pit window is open for them to be able to make it the rest of the way? Remember, the fuel window is about 5 to 6 laps. Green flag back in the air. Benny Watson, the race leader, going to try and get around the high side of Jesse Turner. That opens up the door down the bottom for Alexander Rowe, and he might be able to get the lead from Benny Watson. Watson trying to move low, can't do it. Here comes the 24, couple of rookies down on the bottom, Rowe and Hamill. Jessica Shelton right there with him as well. Carson Gum, and then you got some lap cars there. The 8 of Matt Haas, the 88 of William Brock. Look at Ryan Brommer making some moves. Ryan Brommer, the defending winner of this race, trying to go to victory lane for a second time here at the Pensacola Road Course. And he's trying to break his way up into the top 5 as we've had a lead change. Derek Hamill, the pole sitter, keeps finding a way to get back to the front. And he is out in front again here. Jessica Shelton trying to bypass Matt Haas. That is not for position. Matt Haas is currently 1 lap down. Exchange for 3rd. Alexander Rowe getting around Carson Gum. Benny Watson will slot to 4th. Gum back to 5th. And Ryan Butcher right there in the 5th position. Michael Norman trying to make his way through traffic. He's surrounded by lap cars. Currently in the 6th spot. Right now, 7th would be Ryan Brommer. Only driver this season who's won previously at a road course, winning at Sonoma earlier on this year. So a great run for the 9. Move back up to the front, see if anything's developing up inside of the top 5. And we had a lead change. Matt Haas got around Derek Hamill to get back in the lead lap. Jessica Shelton followed him through to take the race lead. And now they'll take this battle on to the Super Speedway section. Shelton trying to put Matt Haas a lap down again. And they're going to be wadded up from about 1st back to maybe 4th. 5th and 6th might be able to catch up to this group. We'll have to wait and see. Derek Hamill trying to get the run on Shelton. Looks like he'll be able to. See if he can make a move on Shelton coming out of the NASCAR turn 4. Nope, Shelton moves low. Alexander Rowe's going to move even lower, so that's a battle for 2nd between himself and Derek Hamill. Benny Watson in that mix as well. And Watson might try and make it 3 wide for 2nd place. Nope, stays in line with that inside line. Now, usually on the 2nd lap, there's an incident down here in this left-hander. Let's see if these guys can make it through safely this time. It's a very hard braking zone. Let's see if they can traverse through it safely. Looked good right there. At least this section of cars did. This group looks pretty good too. Can they all make it through without incident? As soon as I say that, there goes Carter Friesen, Marcus Sachi, Keith Batson, Johnny Gardner, but we're still green. Keith Batson's in the tire barrier though. That might bring out the caution, and it does. Zach Rogers and Kyle Matthews also spun. Adam Garcia as well. I think if they had all kept it going, we would still be under green, but because the 39 of Keith Batson was stuck in the tire barriers and was at a stop, They had to throw the yellow flag with oncoming traffic. So the caution is going to come out again, and ooh, I don't know. If they pit this time, are they going to be good to go on fuel? We'll probably get back green on lap 12, which would put us right at 7 laps to go. I think they would still have to make at least one more pit stop before the race is over. I don't think they can stretch it 7 laps. Benny Watson's the race leader, though. Alexander Rowe into second. You got that lap machine there of Matt Haas, who would love to be able to get past both Alexander Rowe and Benny Watson before we get back to the start-finish line, because that would put him back on the tail end of the lead lap. It's quite a ways for him to get up there to Benny Watson. Benny Watson's win last season was at Darlington. And so right now, Benny Watson is riding a 39-race winless streak since his last victory in the Duracell Cup Series. See if Alexander Rowe and Matt Haas can catch up to that 75 before we get to the start-finish line. They're about maybe 4 or 5 car lengths back. They are visibly closing, but I don't think they got enough time for Alexander Rowe to challenge for the lead coming to the start-finish line here. Got Hamill and Shelton. They're going to battle for third. Here comes Rowe, though, with a crossover. Can't quite make it work there against Benny Watson, so Watson will hang on to the top spot. Shelton did get Derek Hamill for third place, and not sure what was going on right there. Unless that was just a way for them to scrub off speed, but now Benny Watson's got some right side damage, as does Matt Haas. So that was a little bit odd. Another couple of drivers went up and got the wall. Casey Nanico, Seth Cole, and Charles Sanford. I don't know if that's a way to scrub off speed or not. Zach Rogers is on pit road. We know he was involved in the incident along with Keith Batson and Adam Garcia. Ryan Butcher's all the way back here in 21st. I didn't see him get involved in the wreck. I wonder if maybe he came to pit road here under this green flag run. Same for Sebastian Kukala and Jordan Lopez. We'll document that when we come back. Find out if indeed they may have come to pit road and we went back green, so they would be on a much different pit sequence than everybody else and might actually be able to make it the rest of the way, depending on when they pit. But Benny Watson is the race leader. He's still got to get around Alexander Rowe because Rowe, for some reason, went way ahead of everybody else here. So as Watson leads us under caution, undoubtedly everybody will be back on pit road again, where they will just barely be outside of their fuel window, and Benny Watson's going to get into the back of Alexander Rowe there. So even more damage now for the 75, and now damage on the left side of the 24. It's a pretty spacious road course. I'm not sure why they had that kind of an issue. Anyway, let's go back and see what brought out the caution for the third time here today at Pensacola. Well, the field was pretty well spread out at this point. A lot of drivers damaged and off the pace, so the field was kind of splitting up. And I thought maybe they'd be able to give each other room going down here into this left-hand turn 3, but unfortunately that was not going to be the case. Keith Batson, I don't know if he overdrives it or if he gets some help going into this corner. He's got Johnny Gardner in the 14 behind him. Let's see if there's any contact between those two. No. Does Garcia overdrive the corner? Oh, yeah, he did. Garcia got loose. Car snaps the wrong way. He collects up Keith Batson, Johnny Gardner, Marcus Sachi. You can see there's Carter Friesen. He had spun on his own. Now at this point, there's no caution. These drivers all continue on. They're off in the runoff zone, so there was no need to throw a yellow. But right here, because Keith Batson's car gets stuck in the tire barriers and comes to a stop, and there's oncoming traffic, they had to throw the yellow flag. There's Adam Garcia trying to get himself back on track as well. You see right here, he definitely knew he had to turn around to get back on track, unlike Jose Mills from earlier. Kyle Matthews overdrove the corner there in the 09 as well. And then you see when Garcia gets stuck in the wall, he's stuck behind Keith Batson, who was also stuck in the wall, and so neither car was able to get themselves unstuck, and so NNSCRA officials absolutely no choice but to throw the caution there. If they can just avoid overdriving that corner, I think we can run the rest of this race under green. But we're going to have a couple more drivers possibly out of the race as a result of this one. The garage area continues to fill up. And I was correct. Ryan Butcher did come to pit road when we went back green on that last restart. So he stayed out under this caution. He'll restart the leader. And remember, Ryan Butcher, if I recall correctly last season, he was able to stretch the fuel about 1 lap further than everybody else. And I was really shocked about that. So obviously he has learned fuel conservation here at Pensacola. The only thing is, though, when he came to pit road, we went back green. I think it was on lap 9. He's already run about 3 laps here under pacing. Don't know if he's been able to save under that. If he has, then, you know, more power to him. But he's going to, when we go back green, have to have 6 laps of fuel in the tank. Does he have that? Did he save enough under pacing? We'll have to wait and see. He'll restart the leader over Mitchell Collins, Carson Gum, Jessica Shelton, and Benjamin Miles. That is your top 5. We'll wait till they cross the line. I believe Vince Almriego is 6th, 7th Eric Campbell, Seth Cole 8th. We'll finish the rest of the top 10 when they cross the line. Carter Friesen's 9th, and Alexander Rowe is currently in 10th. Battle for the lead. Mitchell Collins trying to take the spot from Ryan Butcher. You look on down further. Kukala in 11th, Lopez 12th, Sachi in 13th, Norman 14th, Brommer 15th, and Sanford, Gardner, Watson, McIntyre, and McIntyre are your top 20. Oh my goodness, are they going to make it 4 wide here into this corner? Yes, they are. Ooh, give room. Little contact there between Almriego and Shelton. And somehow they're going to make it through. Contact between Miles and Collins, as Miles going to go for the race lead, and he'll take it away. Benjamin Miles trying to go for back-to-back wins here in the Duracell Cup Series. Overdrove that corner, though. Opens up the door for Mitchell Collins. Who's going to have the advantage down here into this corner? It's a right-hander. So it should be Collins who gets the advantage. Your James Qualls making a move. Now Qualls is, I believe, 2 laps down. Oh my goodness, there was some contact right there. And that just moved Collins and Miles off the surface. I think Miles is in the grass, and that puts the lead to Ryan Butcher. James Qualls, I believe, is 2 laps down, but he is trying to hope for a caution to come out to get one of those laps back now. That's why he was racing as hard as he was. Now let's update the drivers out of the race at this point. Kyle Matthews has taken his car back behind the wall, so early end to the day for our Phoenix winner. Zach Rogers is out of the race as well. And I believe those are the only 2 drivers that have retired out of the race at this point. I believe Keith Batson and Adam Garcia will probably be retiring out of the race, depending on how much damage they got when they hit the tire barriers. I'm really hoping we can finish this under green now, because we are right in the fuel window of these drivers being able to make it the rest of the way. If a caution comes out, then they can pit and definitely make it the rest of the way. But I would love to see what would happen if this race finished under green flag conditions as far as who can make it on fuel. Ryan Butcher trying to put James Qualls a lap down again as the battle is on for second. Mitchell Collins, Benjamin Miles, Vince Almriego all in that battle. Ryan Butcher almost, I thought, might be coming to pit road, but instead he just darted low on James Qualls. And look at this. Look at how quickly this pack is caught up to Ryan Butcher. Ooh, look at that. Mitchell Collins putting the fender to the left rear quarter panel of Benjamin Miles. 3 wide for second. Jessica Shelton, Carson Gum, Alexander Rowe catching up to this group as well. Alright, guys, come on. Make it through this corner. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe. Oh, they're 4 wide. This group made it. If they can make it, everybody else can certainly make it, right? Come on. You can do it. Oh, 4 wide almost back here in this pack. And they made it. 3 wide back here in this section. Shelton, Almriego, Ryan Butcher, and Shelton has to drive it high, wide, and handsome through that corner into the runoff. You'd think James Qualls was battling for the win, but he is currently at least 1 lap down. I believe it's 2. Nope, they've got him 1 lap down. Actually, I think he is 2 laps down now. I think he was 1 lap down when he crossed the line ahead of then Ryan Butcher. So he's 29th, 2 laps down. He will actually pick up a spot, I think, on this next lap. He will pass Kyle Matthews for 28th, because Matthews is out of the race. Benjamin Miles out in front. Now, we mentioned last year that Ryan Butcher won this race in a Northeast Motorsports Chevrolet. Well, a Northeast Motorsports Chevy is leading this race right now, and Benjamin Miles who only last week picked up his first Duracell Cup Series win, he might be able to get his second in 2 races. Mitchell Collins, been a long time since he's been to victory lane. He won at Kansas last year, a track that we're going to be going to in a couple of weeks. So he's almost to a full season since his last win. Ryan Butcher right there in 3rd, though. Now, he's the one we're going to have to keep an eye on because he's the only driver that stayed out under that last caution. If he can't make it on fuel, if he's about 2 laps short, you got to think everybody else might be a lap short on fuel. So if we remain green, he's going to be the one that we're going to have to keep an eye on. He's the catechist. He's also got some front end damage there, but that hasn't seemed to affect his speed. A lot of drivers up here with damage, and I think Butcher's coming to pit road. He is. So if Ryan Butcher is pitting now, coming to 4 to go, I don't think any of these drivers are going to be good to go on fuel. So there will be at least one more pit stop I think these drivers will have to make unless someone has saved fuel and is going to be able to make it the rest of the way. This could be a fuel strategy race. That's only if we stay under green. Mitchell Collins going to take the lead away from Benjamin Miles. Miles with the crossover move, though. Got some good fighting going back there for 3rd place between Shelton, Rowe, and Almriego. Going to fan through the field, make sure they make it through this corner. So far, so good. Looks like they're going to do it. Yes, they are. Carson Gum was also on pit road in the 3 car. So Carson Gum and Ryan Butcher both hit pit lane. So they will be good to go on fuel now as they've topped off. Here's your battle for 3rd between Rowe, Shelton, and Almriego. And we got a good battle going on back here as well. Michael Norman, Jordan Lopez, Sebastian Kukulon, and pole sitter Derek Hamill. That is from 6th back to 9th. And right now, completing your top 10 would be the 72 of Seth Cole. There's Benny Watson, who was the leader when we took the caution the last time. He lost a lot of positions on pit road because they spent time working on both the right side and right front of his machine after he got up into the wall under pacing and also got into the back of Alexander Rowe. Obviously, it did more ill effects to his race car than it did to the 24 of Alexander Rowe. They just did a normal pit stop, got him back out, and right now he's up inside the top 5 in the 4th position. Seems like 3rd on back are able to reel in 1st and 2nd on the super speedway sections, but Miles and Collins, while they have been battling for the lead, they've been able to use the road course section to gap themselves back to 3rd place. See if they come around this time, if they're going to stay out. Or will we see them hit pit road? They're awfully low on the track. I think they're pitting. Yes, they are. Who stays out? The rookie Alexander Rowe stays out. Shelton is in. Who else here is coming in? Kukulon is in. His teammate Seth Cole as well. Marcus Sachi pits. William Brock is a lap down, but he's going to pit. Matt McIntyre pits. 2 laps down, Chris Dollerton comes to pit road. Johnny Gardner's in along with Carter Friesen, Ryan Brommer, and Charles Sanford. I don't know if Carson Gum is ahead of Ryan Butcher or not on track. Let's see where Carson Gum crosses the line here. He crosses in 21st. I believe Ryan Butcher is going to cross in 22nd. So right now, Carson Gum would be the highest up of the drivers that pitted earlier. Yep, Butcher's in 22nd. So we'll have to see where Carson Gum cycles around in that 3 car. It's already passed a number of drivers there. He got by Mitchell Collins and Benjamin Miles, who were battling for the lead. So Carson Gum, depending on if this thing remains green or not, he could cycle around to the race lead. We'll have to wait and see, though, as we are at under 3 laps to go. Alexander Rowe leading the way now. Vince Almriego right there in 2nd. Of course, it could be academic if any of these drivers have saved enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. Michael Norman is in 3rd. Hamill in 4th. Jordan Lopez, great run here today for him in that 5th position. Haven't talked much about him. There have been a lot of drivers up there in the point stands that have struggled today, but let's give a shout out to some of those other drivers that have been doing well in points, that are running well here today. We mentioned about Lopez. He's 6th in points. Benjamin Miles was up there leading. He's 5th in the standings. Mitchell Collins was up in 2nd at one point there. He obviously gave it up to come to pit road, but he is 3rd in points coming to this race. And, of course, Carson Gum that we were just highlighting there. He comes into this race in the 7th position in points. So there are some drivers that have struggled here today that are running well in points, but there definitely have been others that are running very well here. It looked like they could leave Pensacola with a good points day, as let's see if Alexander Rowe or Vince Almriego or both come to pit road this time. Looks like they will, as will Norman, Hamill, and Lopez. Benny Watson is in. Is anybody going to stay out an extra lap? No, they are not, and I believe that is going to turn the race lead over to Carson Gum, should Carson Gum stay out. I believe the race leader crossed the line. Yeah, Alexander Rowe did cross the line, so we are on 2 laps to go right now. That will be what Carson Gum will be at when he hits the line. Here he is going to cross the line, and we'll see if he's going to cycle out ahead of all these drivers on pit road, or is someone going to be able to get off pit road ahead of him. He just passed Alexander Rowe. He just passed Vince Almriego. There's Jordan Lopez. Lopez might be able to get out ahead of him, or at least right with him, but he's going to have to get himself up to speed here, so it might be between the 3 and the 38 for this victory. Carson Gum, is he going to clear Lopez going into this corner? Yes, he is. So that right there, I believe, was the exchange for the lead between Carson Gum and Jordan Lopez, and someone just spun. Caution is out. Almriego and Rowe got together. Norman has spun as well. This is the race back to the caution and potentially the race back to the checkered flag. It's going to come down between 2 former winners from this season. Carson Gum, who won at Atlanta. Jordan Lopez, who won at Michigan. Neither one have won at a road course in their career, and right now it's going to come down between these two. We are racing back to the caution, which will undoubtedly end this race under yellow. What a tough break there for Rowe and Almriego. They were 3rd and 4th cycling around there with the pit stops. That's going to move Mitchell Collins up to 3rd, Kugel on to 4th, Hamill to 5th. Watson will be 6th now with McIntyre 7th, Saatchi in 8th, Butcher in 9th, and Matt McIntyre will probably cross the line at least up inside the top 10. Jordan Lopez just has to have himself close to Carson Gum, so he might be able to get a run on him here in the super speedway section, but he might be too far back. Carson Gum came to pit road about 2 laps after we went green, laid down some great lap times, and cycled back to the top of the leaderboard, and might be en route to his 2nd win of the season. But let's see if Lopez has anything to say about it. Let's see if Lopez can close up the gap here in the super speedway section. Is he close enough for the draft to work, to be able to make a move here in 3 and 4? Visibly, I don't think so. If he had someone behind him, I'd say maybe. But since he's by himself, I don't think he's close enough to get the draft. And what a pit strategy call for the driver of the 3 and the pit crew of the 3. Carson Gum's going to come to the line. The white flag will display, but it may as well be the checkered. I believe Carson Gum has just won this race at Pensacola Road Course. We'll have to wait until they come around here for the checkers. James Qualls, who sat on pit road for a good portion of the middle part of this race, smoking. Seth Cole looks like he was involved in whatever happened. There is Alexander Rowe, who had a really strong car today. And I believe it was both he and Vince Almriego who got together coming off pit road into that left-hander, the first turn of the road course section. A lot of damage on the 24. Oh, Benjamin Miles. Miles had a great car today as well. Led a few laps. Winner last week, and his day is over. There's Vince Almriego. Jesse Turner's on pit road as well. Michael Norman, we know, got caught up in something. We saw him spinning through the turn 3 area. And they're wrecking back there for some reason as well. Chris Dollerton and Chris Dalton and Charles Sanford. Obviously, Dr. Pepper and Coke can't get along even on track. As now the pace car is going to pick up Carson Gum, who just has to make it back to the checkered flag. And I'm pretty sure he's good to go on fuel now, especially since we are under pacing. He'll be able to shut that car off here in certain sections and save some fuel to get back to the start-finish line. Everything that happened to bring out this caution, you'll be able to see courtesy of your interstate split cam, as we're going to stay here with the race leader, since this is the final lap of the race. Well, Carson Gum, his first career Duracell Cup Series victory came last year at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono, and it was on fuel strategy. No doubt about it here today that this was a race of pit strategy that definitely worked out in his favor. He came to pit road about 2 laps earlier than everybody else, and I don't know if they changed tires or not, but if they did, that probably helped him to be able to lay down pretty good lap times, and he was able to bypass everybody else when they all made their green flag pit stop. And that caution, I don't even know, even if that caution hadn't come out, if Jordan Lopez would have been able to catch Carson Gum, because Carson looked like was starting to pull away from Jordan Lopez. So either way, whether it had been under green or under caution, I think the end result would have been the same with Carson Gum winning this race. Jordan Lopez will bring it home in second. How about Sebastian Kukulon? A great run for him there. He'll get rookie of the race as he finishes in the 3rd position. Kukulon comes into this race in the overall point standings 37th in the points, so a great run for him. I believe he is also 4th in the rookie points, 8 points behind Cody Lamas, who we know DNF'd from this event, so he'll make up some ground in the rookie point stands as well. Mitchell Collins will bring it home in 4th, and Derek Hamill, I mean, we didn't really see him up front all the time, but he did start on pole, and I don't think that car really ever fell outside of the top 10. He had a really strong car here today. Obviously, it was good in Q trim and was equally as fast in race trim, and he's going to finish the day out in a 5th position. So obviously, I think if we go to some more road courses here in the future, we're going to have to look at Derek Hamill as a potential driver to maybe look at that could potentially sneak a win. His teammate today, though, is going to take a win, that being Carson Gum. And if Carson Gum does make it to the start-finish line and win this race, he will join Michael Norman as a 2-time winner this season. Carson Gum, his win at Pocono last year, got him into the playoffs, but it was his only win. The first time that Carson Gum will have a multi-win season. We'll stack up there through that section. Way they crossed the line, it looks like rest of the top 10. Benny Watson is going to finish in 6th, though a nice recovery after they had a lengthy pit stop after he came down pit road from the lead. All 3 of the Team Chevy Autosports cars are going to finish in the top 7. If I recall correctly, there was another race that we had where all 3 of them finished up inside of the top 10. I think it might have been Darlington. So that team, despite having 2 rookies, has definitely been strong this year. Levi McIntyre, great run for him there in 8th place. We never really talked much about the 99 here today. He was mostly just outside the top 10, somewhere in the top 15 for most of this event, but he's going to get an 8th place run. Ryan Butcher, good run for him there in 9th, so in his only 2 starts here at Pensacola, he has a win and then a top 10 in 9th. And Matt McIntyre, great run for him here today. I mean, we didn't talk much about him either, but he came into this race the points leader. We know Ryan Acosta finished with a DNF here today, so Matt McIntyre will have a pretty good points gap heading into next week's race at Dover, as Carson Gum leads them down here to the start-finish line. Pit strategy at his finest will get him his 2nd win of the season. He'll win the Blue Angels 250 at Pensacola, and that, I believe, right there just solidified himself a spot in his 2nd chase for the Duracell Cup Series Championship. Carson Gum won earlier on this season at Atlanta. He now adds a road course victory to his resume with the win here at the Pensacola road course. Lengthy race, no doubt about it, even though we also had 4 caution flags during the course of this race. But the end result is the end result. And we had some drivers finish out of the race on the tail end of the lead lap, it looks like, there as well, from 19th on down through 22nd. But we gave you a top 10. Let's look further down. Jessica Shelton's going to finish the day out in 11th. So a good run for her. Casey Nanico will finish the day in 12th. So we had, 4 rookies finish up inside the top 15. I don't know what it is, but it seems like these technical difficult tracks the rookies seem to do well at. I don't know what the deal is. Trey Wright's going to finish the day out in 13th place. Johnny Gardner 14th. Carter Friesen 15th. Michael Norman with 16th. Ryan Brommer 17th. And the last car to finish the race in the lead lap was Charles Sanford in the 18th position. We had some drivers DNF here in the closing stages, but they managed to, I think, be scored on the lead lap. Alexander Rowe in 19th, Seth Cole in 20th, Vince Almariego 21st, and Benjamin Miles in 22nd. They were all caught up in the incident that brought out our final caution of the day. And then we had these drivers who finished off the lead lap. Austin LaPlante in 23rd, Matt Haas 24th, William Brock 25th, Keith Batson and Jesse Turner 25th and 26th and 27th rather. Then 2 laps down were Adam Garcia and Chris Dollerton. Then everybody else behind them DNF'd out of the race. James Qualls, Kyle Matthews, Zach Rogers, Cody Lamas, Jack Mitchell, Jose Mills, Wyatt Quayle, Cole Baker, Dylan Young, Matthew Rodriguez, and Ryan Acosta, who came into this race 2 points back from the overall points lead. Was going to try and take the points lead back over. Going to finish dead last here today. So it seems like right now Ryan Acosta and that 10 team might be on a bit of a skid. They definitely need to bounce back. And I look down here through the drivers that DNF'd, and there are a lot of former winners from this season as well. Kyle Matthews, who won at Phoenix. Jose Mills, who won at Bristol. Wyatt Quayle, who won at Las Vegas. Cole Baker, who won at Daytona. And Dylan Young, who won at Darlington. A lot of drivers DNFing there that are former winners this season. Now, as far as ones that I should feel worried about, Kyle Matthews would probably be the one that jumps out to me the most relevant, because he came into this race 29th in points, and this DNF could very well put him outside the top 30 in the standings heading into next week at Dover. But that's going to do it here today from the Pensacola Road Course. Carson Gum joins Michael Norman as a 2-time winner here in Season 2. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We've shown you full fishing results, and these are your point standings heading next week as we head to the Monster Mile, Dover International Raceway. If I recall correctly, the defending winner of that race is Wyatt Quayle. So we'll see if Wyatt Quayle can get his season back on track with maybe his second win of the season there. But obviously there are 39 other drivers who would love to win there as well. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing as Best. So long from Pensacola.